Hello, everybody. Laurent, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here today with Opinum team for this annual event, and it will be an opportunity to present our expertise and to show you a typical Opinum customer portal implementation. I'm Nicolas, Sales Director of IT-Newvision, and I am pleased to introduce you Laurent.
Hello, everyone. I'm Laurent Gautier. I'm a project director at IT-Newvision, and I'm also happy to be here to share with you our expertise and to highlight our collaboration with Opinum.
Thanks, Laurent. Would you like to talk first about the great meeting between IT-Newvision and Opinum?
Yes, thank you, Nicolas. Yes, about the meeting between IT-Newvision and Opinum. IT-Newvision is an energy and utilities French specialized company. And in order to support our customers, we are looking for the best solutions according to their requirements and help them integrate it into their information system. So in this context, it was obvious to meet Opinum when our DSOs or energy providers, customers, asked for advices on topics like meter data management system or customer portal or more highlight how to help customer for better consumption control. So we are convinced that Data Hub and Sitecare are well adapted to meet the current and the future market and regulation requirements. Our IT&V integration approach is agile and based on a collaborative and close relations with our customers and Opinum teams. So it was a story about the meeting between IT-Newvision and Opinum. And now I want to talk about the French market and the French regulation. As IT-Newvision is an energy and utilities French specialist, the team have a deep knowledge of the French market and the French regulation. And as a specialist, we should keep a watch on the market evolution, but also on the regulation to be able to support our customers. Currently, on the next slide, we will see that 80% in the French market, 80% of the smart meters, more than 80% now, are deployed. 100% should be deployed end of 2024. With this deployment, lots of data is now available and many new services can be provided for customers. We are convinced that many of the services are still to be created in order, for example, to single out an offer from a supplier, but also to have a control on our own consumption. At the same time, this data provide detailed information on customers and are regulated by law. For some of them, you should collect the agreement of the customers. This agreement should provide several information to be legal and answer to questions such as, why do you want to use this data? How much time do you need it? And this agreement should be renewed every year. This is just an example of the French regulation. Other example of the French law context is the GDPR law. This law aims at controlling personal data used and thus protect customers' privacy. You can't keep an historical, for example, you can keep with this law, you can't keep an historical of data over than 3 years. And you should remove what the law called personal data in all of your systems if the customer asked for. All of this knowledge gives a frame for our clients and help for the delivery, but should be included in a method. Let's talk about the method now with Nicolas. Nicolas, please.
Yeah. So IT-Newvision carries out to the functional scoping and integration of the project as well as their management. I would like to present you the different integration tasks that we carry out in the context of the implementation of an Opinum customer portal and then a typical implementation schedule. First of all, I'd like to talk about the integration with the French DSO, Enedis, and GRDF. In order to retrieve the detailed customer data from the Linky and Gaspar meters, a special service is required. The service requires the consent of the customer. Enedis and GRDF offer two types of consent collections. Uh, the first one is called Client Direct at GRDF and Data Connect at Enedis. It allows data to be collected by API and requires the customer to give his consent after logging on the DSO platform. And the second one is called Tier Direct at GRDF and Tier Autorisé at Enedis. It provides access to a simplified process for managing customer consents. But additional checks by the DSO will occur, and we must be prepared to provide proof of consents. Sorry. And so IT-Newvision will guide you through the entire process to make the best choices. And I would like to show you the example of GRDF customer journey. So here we've got Opinum at the middle. When the customer comes on the platform, then he gives his consent, and then Opinum will send the consent to the GRDF platform. We'll control this and send an email to the customer. Then the customer will validate or not. If he validates, then GRDF will open the access. Otherwise, Opinum should resend within 3 days a new declaration and restart the process. If the customer has the access, then GRDF, inform him that the access is open. And after this, we will have to send every year a new declaration without asking again the customer. And then we have access to the different information for the customer. So this kind of workflow is mastered by IT-Newvision, and we can help you to work on this. But all of this is implemented into the Opinum platform. Now let's talk about compliance with GDPR. The collection of consent must comply with the rules of GDPR, whether for data transmitted by the customer information system or for the retrieval of intraday data from the DSO. The writing of legal text requires a detailed mapping of data exchange, which we carry out with our clients. In particular, data is shared between the customer relationship management and Opinum for analysis and comparison of the consumption. And we will guide you in writing the GDPR procedure and implementing them on the Opinum portal. Now, I'd like to talk about personal data integration, weather data integration, and consumption analysis. The analysis of consumption with an algorithm provided by Opinum platform makes it possible to break down consumption into uses like heating, lighting, washing machine, fridge, etc., and to compare consumption with a panel of users. This algorithm asks the user to provide information such as the number of square meters, the age of the housing, the type of heating, the type of cooking, etc. And some of the information is already present in your CR, customer relationship management system, and we can help you to transfer with the transfer of this information to Opinum. Regarding weather data, there are two ways to bring them into the Opinum platform, either integrated from your system, if it's already existing, or purchase it via an internal Opinum service. This weather data will allow the client to have a better view of the relationship between his energy consumption and the outside temperature. Finally, we propose to help you in building an interface in your colors, which integrate all your needs. So we'll work with you to define all the business rules for calculating and displaying data. For example, we can display an estimate of the energy cost for each day. And the Opinum team will provide you an interface branded entirely in your colors with the best UX standard to simplify the user journey. And the mockups are updated and validated by you. Also, we would work with you on user advice, data exportation, provision of invoices and contractual document, alerts notification, etc. And also we will work with you on integration with other systems. So Opinum offer a flexible set of data connectors that will that will allow connection with remote displays, for examples, and your information system, of course, to collect data, for example, in your customer relationship management system. Now, I'd like to share with you an example of a project scheduled for implementation of an Opinum customer portal. So on this project, we had, first of all, a proof of concept in order to validate and to demonstrate the integration of data from the customer and test from customer users. So on this proof of concept, we had technical workshop in order to build the master data integration and then to run the integration and run the test. And in parallel, we had the workshop to start the project with functional UX UI integration and GDPR workshop. We had many workshops for this. And then we wrote the specification on sprint 0. And when backlog is validated, then we start the different development sprints. So of course, the number of sprints depends on the different functionality that we will implement for you. Then we have, of course, customers acceptance and then go live. So this is an example of a project that has that takes around 5 to 6 months from really the beginning to the opening to users. Before giving you the floor for asking question, Laurent will give you a summary of our added value and the strengths of the IT-Newvision and Opinum partnership.
Yes, thank you, Nicolas. As explained before, you understand that we are convinced that good knowledge of the French context helps a lot accelerating the delivery, but also the time to market. If I can give you some example to illustrate my words, the first can be about DSO flows. We can support our customer to collect these flows and to suggest how to use them in the portal and or to use them to provide advices for the client. I'm talking about the load curve, for example, but many other index data. Second one can be about customers' agreements. User experience is really important in that specific context. Without agreements, you cannot use detailed data and wouldn't be able to provide services with a real additional value. We help our client to find the best way to collect this agreement using DSO APIs, like Nicolas talked about previously, or not, because it depends on the user experience expected by our customer. And for example, If the customer needs to create a DSO account to give his agreement, his experience will not be the best. And this is just an example. GDPR is another one, but Nicolas talked about this topic previously. More generally, all experiences with our clients are a way to improve our knowledge and to do better for the next one. In the same time, we also must get prepared for the future, and we strongly believe that it will be around services. Many different ways. Tools will probably be designed to help domestic and professional customers, but also collectivities to reach a better control of their consumption. And I'm really sure that Opinum seems to be the right partner to provide them. Now, thanks to all to hear us. And if you have any question, it will be a pleasure to answer with Nicolas.
Any question? Don't hesitate. It's now time.
We have a question from Nicolas Gautier. How do you materialize and store the user consent in the Opinum Data Hub? Not a standard concept in DH, as far as I understand it. I suppose you keep a history of all yearly consent renewal somewhere as well. Yes, on this part, the agreement from the client, the consent is stored by the customer. It's not stored on Data Hub. A Data Hub just use a webhook to, for example, we are working on a current project where the consent will be stored on the CRM of the customer. But it's always the customer that is responsible of this legal document.
Yeah, and it's really important to get the consent on the CRM, because then when the TSO comes to have the certification of this, the customer is able to prove all the consent that has been collected. So it is really important to have a special workflow to answer to the TSO, because you have to know that the TSO will come each month to have to ask you to give the proven of this consent collection.
Thank you, Nicolas, to let us give this precision about this topic.
So would you like more information about the different processes with the GRDF and NADIS collection of consent, maybe? And for example, on this example of customer journey, so this one is one of the example. We've got other possibility, and we have to choose the right one for you.
Okay, if further question happen later in the day, don't hesitate to. Another question from Nicolas. Usually, is the consent valid for several meters or for each meter one by one. Example, gas plus elec, or elec plus second elec submeter. It's a good question. You have a consent for gas and another consent for elec. It's not the same. And I don't remember if you have 2 meters. I think that you should have 2 consent. Nicolas?
Yeah, so on GRDF, I think they will give you the consent to send for the 2 different meters, so you will be able to provide the consent on the same screen for the 2 events, the 2
Meters?
The 2 meters. And for NADs also it should be the same, because so it depends on the which process you are using, even either for client direct or client connect. So my answer was regarding this one, tier direct and SGL, this one. For the client connect, we should check to give the answer, because it's different. So we have to check this. But on Share Direct, yes, you will be able to give the consent for both at the same time if you have different meters. But you have to give the consent for GADF and the consent for NADs. It's 2 different consents. Thanks, Nicolas, for your questions.
Yeah. Really interesting to go further on this topic. That is a current important topic.
And yeah, I can add something, that with the client connect workflow, then the customer will have to log in to the DSO platform and then to give his consent. And if you don't want the user to log to the DSO platform to give his consent, then you can use the tier direct workflow. And with this one, the customer has not to log in to the DSO platform. But the other things to know is that you will have more verification coming from the DSO on different meters that where you require the consent.
I don't know. I don't know if you're talking about that, but about the renew of the consent. Just a precision, you can do it for GRDF using APIs also, and it can be automatic.
Yeah, it's this one, Client Connect. With Client Connect, you have direct API. With GRDF, you have API at both sides. But with NATs, you have API only on this service data connect. But if you don't want the user to be logged in, you have to declare the consent on the SGE platform. Okay. So thank you, everybody. And don't hesitate to come back to us if you need further information.
Thank you very much.